Three, two, one. Hi there. I'm Sean Bitcoin, an advocate of fitness and health, and I'm here to teach you the importance of consistency in exercising and how it affects your muscle performance and muscle growth. Now, let me show you a diagram of how to maximize your growth while reducing stress on your muscles. This diagram will give you the overview of how you should split your work days from your rest days. Now, let me ask you, looking at this diagram, what do you observe? Well, first of all, it's a piecewise function because there are certain intervals for a certain function. For example, this equation that has 1 is less than or equals to x and x is less than or equals to 7. Now, in this diagram, there are three quadratic functions that are correlated to each other. Let's discuss each of these functions and why they are there. But before that, let's take a look at the axis. What does the number on the x-axis represent? Right here. Well, it simply represents the days of the week, meaning 1 is the first day, 2 is the second day, 3 is the third day, and so on. Well, you may ask, what about the y-axis right here? Well, y-axis serves as the measure of efficiency, or in simplest terms, how effective your training is on that particular day. For example, if the y-axis is at a 4, right here, and that's with your x-axis at 3, right here, it would prove that your efficiency on day 3 is at a level of 4 in terms of efficiency as comparison to when your x is at 2 and your efficiency is at 2 also. It would state that your efficiency in day 2 is less than your efficiency in day 3. Disclaimer. These intervals doesn't mean how many days, but rather how many consecutive days you will be training. For equation 1, the intervals indicate For equation 1, the intervals indicate that you work 7 days consecutively, meaning from day 1 till day 7. While equation 2, according to the intervals, states that you will only be training consecutively from day 1 to day 3. Lastly, equation 3 states that you would be resting for day 4 and start your training again from day 5 to 7. Okay, now let's move on to the actual diagram starting Let's move on to the actual diagram by starting with the first equation. This is the graph. This is the graph that will represent the effectiveness of your training if you work consecutively from day 1 to day 7. If you take a look at the graph from day 1, starting here, till day 4, your effectiveness in training is increasing, like here. But if you continue your training further up till day 7, it will start to plummet from day 5. So from here, it's increasing, and after that, it's decreasing. This means that working out for 7 days straight will cause more harm than good to your body. But let's move on to equation 2 and 3. Another heads up, both equations are correlated to each other, meaning equation 2 and 3 would be the diagram of the effectiveness of your training for the week. If you train from day 1 to day 3, then take a 1 day break in day 4, and then continuing on day 5 to day 7. As you can see from the graphs, your effectiveness will increase from day 1. This is the red graph and the blue graph, and will reach a peak at day 3, right here. Same with day 5 to day 7. It increases from day 5 to day 6 to day 7. As clearly seen from this piecewise function, in summary, working out 7 days straight would do more harm than good. Clearly seen from this block diagram. It's clearly seen that although your progress or your effectiveness is good for the first few days, you will suffer more injury and more harm the next following days, namely day 5 till day 7. So if you plan out a more systematic or a more controlled type of schedule, for example, just working out for day 1 to day 3, this is the red graph, then working out, then taking a rest day on day 4, leaving this blank, This is a hollow space. And then continuing your workday from day 5 to day 7, it maximizes your efficiency going up while reducing your chances of getting injured or getting muscle fatigue. Now, that's what we like to hear. In exercising and training as athletes, we will always want to ensure steady and proper growth while minimizing those muscle fatigues and occurrence of injury. This is a diagram of proper training plan, and I'm Sean Bitcoin. And thank you for listening. Pangit na siya, be.